Hi y'all, Jess here from Pop Lore, and welcome to a Game of Power series where I talk about the 48 Laws of Power and how Game of Thrones characters use or misuse these laws to play the Game of Thrones. And today I'll be talking about Robert Baratheon, specifically going over how and why he died. Let's get started, party people. If you've already watched season 1 of Game of Thrones or read the same title of book, you know Robert Baratheon was killed while boar hunting. But is that really the full story? Obviously not, since this is the Game of Thrones after all. Nothing is ever that straightforward. So then the question is, how did Robert Baratheon die? It wasn't a coincidence, but at the same time, it wasn't a meticulously planned assassination. What I will say is that his death was an intentional murder disguised by the appearance of bad luck, or rather, Robert Baratheon ultimately succumbing to his vices. It's been no surprise to anyone that Cersei hated Robert. Their marriage wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Everyone knew this. What not many actually know in the story, other than maybe Littlefinger and Varys, was how Cersei had replaced strong wine for Robert's typical drinking wine on the day of his last hunt. Not realizing how strong the wine actually was, Robert Baratheon was drinking at his normal rate, and this made him more drunk than he realized. So Robert, being the cunning and dashing warrior that he is, rushed in to kill the boar, underestimated his opponent due to his intoxication, and was mortally wounded as a result. So, did Cersei kill Robert? Kinda, yeah. Did Robert kill himself? Well, kinda, yeah, too. Cersei certainly didn't help keep him alive, but she did create a situation that made him more vulnerable than his Kingsguard realized. So, why does this matter? It has everything to do with the 48 Laws of Power and what law he broke that led to his death. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. If you haven't already guessed, the mystery person he offended is none other than Cersei Lannister. Offended really isn't the best word to use in this situation, but I digress. Let's talk about this law. There are many different types of people in this world, and you can never assume that everyone will react to your strategies in the same way. Deceive or outmaneuver some people, and they will spend the rest of their lives seeking revenge. They are wolves in lamb's clothing. Choose your enemies and opponents carefully. Then, never offend or deceive the wrong person. Robert Baratheon, being the smartest, dumbest idiot that he is, does not actually have the mental prowess or wisdom to really see what's going on around him. He's entitled, since he's a man and a king, so he treats his wife however he wants, not caring about her or considering that she might retaliate at some point. To give you a bit of a recap as to why Cersei doesn't like Robert, it comes down to physical and emotional abuse. Specifically, he raped and beat her multiple times, along with humiliating her in public. Mix this abuse with her ambition for power, and they create a cesspool of motivation and intent for Cersei. So, she decided she was going to take action and devised a plan to kill Robert. He violated this law because he did bad things to the wrong person, resulting in his death. Not to say there is ever actually a person that deserves this kind of treatment, but if he was a better person and not a serial rapist or abuser, it's possible he wouldn't have made Cersei his biggest enemy in his arc. I venture to guess that if he was more aware of what was going on around him, instead of being drunk all the time, he might have recognized the opportunity he had to do great things with Cersei rolling by his side. As much as I don't like many of the decisions Cersei's made throughout the story and the show, I can't deny that she does have some Tywin in her. She's strategic, she's smart, maybe not as smart as she thinks, but I think Robert and Cersei could have been a power couple at their best. if he hadn't made an enemy of her and given her a larger role in the kingdom, they both would have been able to maintain more of their power and potentially weather a lot of the storms that occurred throughout A Song of Ice and Fire. Of course, this is just my opinion, so I'm curious to hear what you think. If Robert was a smarter dude, do you think Cersei and Robert could have become a power couple? Even if Robert wasn't abusive, do you think Cersei would have still killed him? Let's talk about it in the comments.
Alrighty folks, this is all that I have for you today. Be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. I appreciate the support.